Hello, welcome to our channel. Here, we explore the timeless wisdom of Stoicism to transform your life. Imagine a world where true wealth is not measured by what you own, but by inner peace, contentment, and resilience. Stoic teachings show us that true wealth lies in needing less and living in harmony with our deepest values. Are you tired of chasing more possessions, status, and recognition? Want to learn how to find joy and satisfaction in the simple things in life? So you are in the right place. In this channel, we'll uncover together how Stoic philosophers like Seneca and Epictetus can help us redefine our relationship with desire, find contentment with less, and live a life of integrity and authenticity. We'll explore practical Stoic exercises like voluntary poverty that teach us to value what really matters, build resilience, and cultivate gratitude. Discover how moderating your desires can free you from constant dissatisfaction and bring you a deep sense of peace and happiness. So, get ready to embark on this journey of self-knowledge and transformation. Subscribe to the channel, activate the bell so you don't miss any videos, and let's discover together how Stoic wisdom can guide us to a life rich in meaning and satisfaction. Lesson 1. Stoic definition of wealth. Stoicism teaches that true wealth lies not in accumulating more, but in needing less. Wealth is found in contentment, wisdom, courage, and living in harmony with one's values. In a world dominated by consumerism and the never-ending quest for more, Stoic philosophy offers us a radically different perspective on true wealth. Stoicism, founded in Athens by Zeno of Citium, teaches that true wealth is not in accumulating more, but in needing less. This teaching is more relevant today than ever, as we live in an era where a person's worth is often measured by the size of their bank account, the luxury of their possessions, or the prestige of their social status. For Stoics, true wealth is found in contentment, wisdom, courage, and living in harmony with one's values. This approach completely redefines our notions of success and prosperity. Instead of endlessly seeking to accumulate material goods, the Stoics invite us to look within and find satisfaction in what we already have. Seneca, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, stated, "It is not the man who has little, but the man who desires more, who is poor." These words challenge us to reconsider our relationship with desire and to understand that true poverty lies in the insatiable thirst for having more. Stoicism teaches us that true freedom and wealth come from tempering our desires and cultivating a deep appreciation for what we already have. Stoic wisdom invites us to live with courage, facing challenges and adversities with resilience and tranquility. This courage is not only physical, but also moral. It's the courage to live according to our values, even when that means swimming against the current of social expectations. In doing so, we find a form of wealth that cannot be measured in monetary terms, but in terms of integrity and authenticity. Living in harmony with our own values is another fundamental pillar of the Stoic definition of wealth. Rather than allowing society to dictate what we should value, the Stoics encourage us to reflect deeply on what truly matters to us. This may mean prioritizing meaningful relationships, seeking knowledge and wisdom, or dedicating ourselves to causes we consider fair and important. When we align our actions with our values, we experience a deep sense of peace and fulfillment. The Stoic practice of knowing what is enough is central to achieving this inner richness. Instead of losing ourselves in the endless search for more, the Stoics teach us to appreciate and value what we already have. Gratitude is a powerful Stoic tool that helps us cultivate contentment and recognize the abundance present in our lives, regardless of our external circumstances. Stoicism, therefore, offers a liberating perspective on wealth. He teaches us that true wealth is not in the accumulation of material possessions, but in the ability to live a life of contentment, wisdom, courage, and integrity. By adopting this philosophy, we can free ourselves from the tyranny of incessant desire and find a form of wealth that is lasting and truly satisfying. In a world that often tells us we never have enough, Stoicism reminds us that true abundance lies in needing less and valuing more. This is the true definition of wealth, one that offers us a life of peace, purpose, and deep satisfaction. By practicing Stoic teachings, we can discover an inner richness that no bear market can take away and no thief can steal. Lesson 2. Perspective on desire. The Stoics, including Seneca and Epictetus, emphasize that insatiable desire and the longing for more lead to spiritual poverty. True wealth comes from moderating desires and cultivating inner contentment. We live in an era marked by insatiable desire and the incessant search for more. We are constantly bombarded with messages that tell us we need more to be happy. More money, more possessions, more recognition. However, this never-ending craving traps us in a vicious cycle of dissatisfaction and anxiety. The Stoics, sages of a bygone era but whose teachings are incredibly pertinent today, deeply understood the dangers of this insatiable desire. Philosophers like Seneca and Epictetus warned us that this desire for more leads to spiritual poverty, robbing us of true peace and contentment. Seneca, in his profound reflections, stated, "It is not the man who has little, but the man who desires more, who is poor." These words resonate like an echo of wisdom in our modern world, where an abundance of options often results in a profound sense of lack. Stoicism challenges us to reverse this mindset, showing us that true wealth does not come from ceaseless accumulation, but from moderating our desires and seeking inner contentment. Epictetus, a slave who became one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, taught us that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few desires. This insight is revolutionary because it shows us that true freedom and contentment are within our reach, no matter our external condition. By moderating our desires and appreciating what we already have, we find a wealth that is immune to external fluctuations and the opinions of others. The key to cultivating this inner contentment is self-knowledge. We need to identify what really matters to us, what brings true satisfaction and joy. This often involves a reevaluation of our values and priorities, moving us away from the incessant search for material goods and social recognition. Instead, we focus on building a life rich in meaning, deep relationships, and personal achievements that resonate with our essence. The Stoics also teach us the practice of gratitude as a powerful antidote to insatiable desire. By focusing on what we already have and what is truly valuable in our lives, we begin to notice the abundance that surrounds us. Gratitude allows us to see beyond superficial appearances and value the invisible riches we already possess, such as health, friendship, love, and wisdom. Furthermore, the Stoics encourage us to embrace voluntary simplicity. When we practice moderation and frugality, we are not depriving ourselves, but freeing ourselves. We are freeing ourselves from the tyranny of desire and the constant need for more. This practice helps us rediscover pleasure in small things, find joy in simplicity, and appreciate the beauty of everyday life. Ultimately, the Stoic perspective on desire offers us a path to true wealth and freedom. By moderating our desires and cultivating inner contentment, we free ourselves from the chains of perpetual dissatisfaction. We find peace and happiness that do not depend on external factors, but that spring from within us. As Seneca said, true happiness is enjoying the present without anxious dependence on the future. Therefore, by adopting Stoic wisdom, we can transform our lives. We can learn to live with less but feel more joy, more peace, more contentment. This is true wealth, one that no economic disaster can destroy and that no personal crisis can shake. It is the wealth of a peaceful mind and a satisfied heart, the true treasure of life. Lesson 3. Personal wealth. Defining personal wealth involves aligning yourself with your authentic self and values rather than societal expectations. It includes finding joy in simple pleasures and meaningful relationships. In a world saturated by social expectations and the never-ending search for external validation, the definition of personal wealth is often distorted. Most of us are led to believe that wealth means accumulating material possessions, achieving high social status, and possessing everything that money can buy. However, the Stoics offer us a profoundly different and transformative perspective. For them, true personal wealth involves aligning with their authentic self and values, finding joy in simple pleasures and meaningful relationships. The first and most crucial step to achieving true personal wealth is self-knowledge. We need to turn away from the external voices that try to define us and instead listen to our own inner voice. What really brings us joy? What do we deeply value? What are our non-negotiable principles? By answering these questions, we begin to draw an authentic map of our wants and needs, allowing us to live in a way that aligns with our values. The Stoics, such as Seneca and Epictetus, emphasize that true wealth cannot be measured by the number of possessions or the admiration of others, but by the ability to find contentment in simplicity. Seneca reminds us that desired poverty is not poverty, but true wealth. This means that by consciously choosing to live with less and focusing on what really matters, we cultivate a form of wealth that is resilient and unshakable. Finding joy in simple pleasures is an art that the Stoics mastered. Imagine the satisfaction of a simple meal shared with close friends, the serenity of a walk outdoors, or the joy of an afternoon of reading. These moments, though simple, are sources of a profound richness that is often overlooked in our search for something bigger or better. By appreciating and valuing these everyday pleasures, we discover an abundance that is not tied to material possessions. Furthermore, the Stoics deeply valued meaningful relationships. For them, true wealth includes the presence of loyal friends, loving family members, and genuine connections. Epictetus, one of the great masters of Stoicism, taught that there is no fortress safer than a clear conscience and true friendships. By investing time and energy in our relationships, we are building a form of wealth that offers emotional support, joy, and a deep sense of belonging. Aligning with your authentic values also means making decisions that reflect who you are rather than trying to meet the expectations of others. This could involve career choices, like following a passion over a more lucrative path, or life decisions, like prioritizing time with family over long hours at work. When we live according to our values, we experience an inner congruence that brings peace and satisfaction. Stoic practice encourages us to cultivate gratitude as a powerful tool for achieving personal wealth. By focusing on what we already have, rather than what we lack, we train our minds to notice abundance in our lives. Gratitude transforms our outlook, allowing us to see the intrinsic value in the things we already have and the experiences we have had. In conclusion, true personal wealth, according to the Stoics, is found in simplicity, meaningful relationships, and congruence with our authentic values. By turning away from social expectations and turning inward, we discover an immeasurable treasure: the ability to live a life rich in contentment, purpose, and genuine joy. May we all learn from Stoic wisdom and find our true richness in what truly matters. Lesson 4. Knowing what is enough. Understanding and practicing the concept of enough is central to Stoicism. It involves appreciating what we have, practicing gratitude, and freeing ourselves from the never-ending cycle of wanting more. We live in an age of excess, where the incessant search for more is almost a cultural norm. We are encouraged to believe that happiness is always one step further, in the next item purchased, the next achievement, the next promotion. However, this mindset traps us in a never-ending cycle of desire and dissatisfaction. Stoicism, with its timeless wisdom, offers us a way out: understanding and practicing the concept of enough. This principle not only frees us from the tyranny of incessant desire, but also teaches us to deeply appreciate what we already have. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "It is not the man who has little, but the man who desires more, who is poor." This phrase captures the essence of what it means to know what is enough. True wealth is not found in the abundance of possessions, but in the ability to feel satisfied with what you have. By recognizing and accepting enough, we cultivate a life of contentment and gratitude, free from the chains of incessant desire. Practicing the concept of enough begins with gratitude. Instead of focusing on what we lack, we should train our mind to value what we already have. This may seem simple, but it is a powerful paradigm shift. When we express gratitude for the little things, our health, our friends, the food on the table, we transform our perception of scarcity into a feeling of abundance. Gratitude is a daily practice that strengthens our ability to recognize enough in our lives. Furthermore, understanding what is enough helps us avoid the trap of consumerism. Modern society bombards us with messages that associate happiness with the acquisition of material goods. However, the Stoics remind us that true happiness cannot be bought. Epictetus, another great Stoic teacher, taught that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few desires. By moderating our desires, we find an inner peace that no amount of money can buy. Another important aspect of the concept of enough is the freedom it provides us. When we stop endlessly chasing more, we gain time and energy to dedicate ourselves to what really matters. We can invest in our relationships, hobbies, and personal growth. This freedom allows us to live according to our values and passions, rather than being guided by an endless wish list. The Stoic practice of knowing what is enough also protects us from disappointment and frustration. When we adjust our expectations and accept reality, we avoid the pain that comes from chronic dissatisfaction. Accepting enough does not mean complacency, but rather a deep appreciation for what life offers us in the present moment. In a world obsessed with excess, the Stoics offer us a radically different and profoundly liberating vision. Knowing what is enough is an act of rebellion against a culture of unbridled consumption. It is an affirmation that our inner peace and happiness are not for sale. When we practice enough, we find a form of wealth that cannot be measured in monetary terms, but in terms of genuine well-being and contentment. So how can we start getting enough practice in our lives? We can start by adopting gratitude as a daily habit, reflecting on the things we are grateful for. We can also simplify our lives, eliminating excess and focusing on the essentials. And, most importantly, we can learn to moderate our desires, remembering that true happiness comes from within and not from external sources. In short, understanding and practicing the concept of enough is a path to freedom and true wealth. We free ourselves from the endless cycle of wanting more and find peace and contentment in the present moment. May we all embrace this Stoic wisdom and discover the abundance that already exists in our lives. Lesson 5. Practical exercises. Stoic exercises, such as practicing voluntary poverty, help build resilience, gratitude, and inner freedom. These practices remind us of the difference between needs and wants, helping us find contentment with less. In the never-ending search for happiness and success, we often find ourselves trapped in a cycle of insatiable desires and constant frustrations. Stoicism, with its timeless wisdom, offers us a practical and deeply transformative approach: the practice of Stoic exercises. Among them, the practice of voluntary poverty stands out as a powerful tool for building resilience, gratitude, and inner freedom. By engaging in these exercises, we learn the crucial difference between needs and wants, finding contentment with less. The practice of voluntary poverty is one of the most impactful exercises suggested by the Stoics. Seneca, one of the great teachers of Stoicism, advised, "Set up a period during which you become familiar with poverty, wearing humble clothes, eating the simplest food, asking yourself, 'Is this what I feared?'" By voluntarily submitting to a simple lifestyle, we develop a genuine appreciation for what we have and a greater resistance to adversity. This exercise teaches us to recognize and value our basic needs. By temporarily reducing our possessions and living modestly, we realize that many of the things we consider essential are actually superfluous desires. This awareness frees us from the constant pressure of accumulating more and more. We discover that true satisfaction is not in possessing, but in appreciating what we already have. Furthermore, the practice of voluntary poverty builds resilience. By deliberately exposing ourselves to simpler living conditions, we prepare ourselves to face unforeseen difficulties. We develop the ability to adapt and thrive, even in adverse circumstances. As Epictetus, another influential Stoic philosopher, said, "Wealth does not consist in having great possessions, but in having few desires." This resilience provides us with an inner strength that sustains us in times of crisis. Gratitude is another significant benefit of practicing voluntary poverty. When we return to our usual lifestyle after this exercise, we do so with a new perspective. We have a deeper appreciation for things we once took for granted. This increasing gratitude improves our overall life satisfaction, making us happier and more fulfilled. These exercises also help us discern between what is truly necessary for our well-being and what is simply a passing desire. We live in a society that constantly bombards us with messages that we need more to be happy. However, as we practice voluntary poverty, we realize that our needs are much simpler than we have been led to believe. This insight allows us to make more conscious choices that are aligned with our values. Inner freedom is one of the greatest gifts that the practice of voluntary poverty can offer. When we reduce our desires and learn to find contentment in simplicity, we free ourselves from the bondage of consumerism and the constant search for external validation. We become independent of external circumstances and more connected with our true essence. To begin incorporating these Stoic exercises into your life, you can establish regular periods of intentional simplicity. Choose one weekend or 1 week a month to live more modestly. Wear simple clothes, eat basic meals, and avoid unnecessary luxuries. Use this time to reflect on your real needs and to cultivate gratitude for what you already have. Another practical exercise is to keep a gratitude journal. Take a few minutes every day to write down 3 things you are grateful for. This helps shift your focus from unfulfilled desires to the blessings present in your life, promoting a mindset of abundance and contentment. In conclusion, Stoic exercises, like practicing voluntary poverty, are powerful tools for building resilience, gratitude, and inner freedom. They teach us the difference between needs and wants, helping us find contentment with less. By incorporating these exercises into our lives, we can develop unshakable inner strength, more deeply appreciate what we have, and live more authentically and fulfilling lives. May we all embrace this Stoic wisdom and discover the true richness that lies in simplicity and gratitude.